Glaciation is a chapter which belongs to whether geomorphology or climatology or oceanography or biosphere. It is a matter of debate. Let us first understand the definition of the glaciation, then it will be decided the glaciation belongs to which one of these. Glaciation is a process of freezing water at global scale, and it starts from high latitude and high altitude. How this process works, you should define it and first try to understand that there is climatic change in the past which is called paleoclimate, and as we know that the earth has been the victim of global warming and global cooling from time to time. When the phase of global cooling comes, the temperature of atmosphere is decreased considerably. Due to that, the water body freezes at large scale. This is called global cooling and glaciation. How it occurs? You consider, suppose the earth has a certain temperature, and it is known that here along Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle there is ice line. To the north of Arctic Circle, water is in frozen state, ice fall, and near Arctic Circle the temperature ranges between 0 to 5 degree 4 degree Celsius. At the same time, along equator or low latitude, the temperature is 30 to 34 degrees Celsius. Suppose, due to some reasons which will be discussed here, the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere falls by 5 degrees Celsius. Then, which place will be affected more? Whether the polar region where ice is there, or near the Arctic belt where temperature is 4 to 5 degrees Celsius, or the equatorial region or low latitude. It is very clear that if temperature has decreased by 5 degree 4 degrees Celsius, the Arctic belt will be affected most, and the water body along the Arctic Circle will be in frozen state, and this process is called glaciation. Contrary to it, the equatorial belt will not record or witness any type of glaciation. Why? Because if we deduct 5 degrees Celsius temperature from 32 degrees Celsius, the temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius, at which no freezing of water body. So this way, the glaciation is the process which starts from high latitude. Then again the second question is that it will advance towards the equator or low latitude. Now the question is whether it will advance mostly along the continents or water body. Answer is clear. What? It will move or march south along the lands, because land has a characteristic of cooling soon and warming soon, while the water body, if heated once, remains warm and its temperature is nearly balanced, not changing. Thus, the ice lobes in the lobe form, ice sheets in the lobe form will march south along the continents, and they will have the impact on land. Land will be subducted there. And contrary to it, in low latitudes, water at 27 degrees Celsius will be evaporated. That evaporated water will reach in the high latitude areas through the atmospheric tricellular meridional circulation, and that will be frozen here, that will freeze here, it will again not come back to equator. What will be the result? In equatorial and low latitude belt, the water level will go down. So now you are able to answer whether this glaciation is the chapter of geomorphology, climatology, oceanography or biosphere. Very clearly, it belongs and affects all the four spheres of physical geography on the earth. But here, its cause is atmospheric cooling, and its impact is on land geomorphology. A number of glacial landforms are developed by this, and secondly, it will have impact on water body, ocean by negative sea level change, and at last it will affect biosphere of lithosphere as well as hydrosphere or oceanosphere. So, which one you will tick in UPSC examination? You will very evidently tick that it is the phenomena of climatology or atmosphere, because atmosphere and atmospheric temperature is the root cause of glaciation and deglaciation. Now, after understanding the definition and the process of glaciation, let us now understand the causes of glaciation. There are two causes. First cause is natural and second cause is man-made. In natural, volcanic dust is a factor which causes glaciation. How it affects? Suppose there is volcanic eruption from the earth crust through either fissure eruption or central eruption. Along with volcanic eruption, voluminous amount of volcanic dust is released and it is established in the atmosphere for a certain period. During that period, when insolation comes, that volcanic dust intercepts the insolation and prohibits insolation to reach on the earth's surface. That's why the temperature on the earth's surface decreased, as volcanic eruption in 1883 at Krakatoa caused small-scale cooling of the area. So, it is volcanic dust that causes global cooling. But the cause of volcanic dust is plate movement. So, when plates moved and at the same time folded mountain orogeny occurred, at the same time global cooling means glaciation took place. The second one is meteoritic dust. Meteors fall on the earth, but mostly meteors pass through the earth's atmosphere, and due to atmospheric composition and density, meteors undergo friction. Due to that friction, the meteoric dust is released in sufficient amount that is left back in the Earth's atmosphere, and it comes in the gravitation field of the Earth, and it moves along with the Earth. It intercepts the insolation like the volcanic dust. Thus, the surface of the Earth receives less amount of insolation, resulting into cooling of a small area or large area, hence glaciation at small scale. In Jurassic period, a number of meteoritic falls were recorded, and with that the global cooling took place, glaciation took place. How? The mechanism we have discussed that in Jurassic period, due to meteoritic fall and meteoritic dust, the insolation was interrupted and the glaciation occurred. Due to that glaciation, the ice proceeded from the polar regions, but the temperature in equatorial belt or low latitude was also lowered, resulting into the killing of dinosaurs, because dinosaurs are warm-blooded animals. Now, let us come to man-made factors which are responsible for glaciation. In man-made factors, it is CO2 decrease. If CO2 will be decreased, the temperature will be decreased and glaciation will take place. Today, this is not applicable because today, due to human activities, carbon dioxide is increasing, resulting into temperature increase and global warming. That we have studied separately in the chapter CO2 and global warming. Here, how CO2 will be decreased, this will be the result of carbon sinking. Carbon sinking phenomena you might be knowing that if once carbon dioxide will be increased in Earth's atmosphere by natural or by man-made factors. So, it is not so that this will be permanent feature of atmosphere. There will be carbon sinking process. What is carbon sinking? When CO2 will increase, temperature of atmosphere will increase, ice will melt, ocean area will spread, sea level will rise, and in ocean the phytoplanktons will come up, and phytoplanktons of water body will absorb atmospheric CO2. This is one type of carbon sinking. At the same time, here on land, if more and more forest will grow, forest, grass and vegetation, that will also play the role of carbon sinking because plants absorb atmospheric CO2. So, today, although there is a phase of global warming because man is releasing sufficient amount of CO2 in atmosphere, but at the same time, man is doing afforestation and reforestation and agriculture, social forestry in dry, arid and semi-arid. What will be the impact of that? That will work as carbon sinking. That's why maybe a chance of global cooling in the coming days if carbon sinking will be in sufficient amount. So, this is natural as well as man-made, but naturally it is a phenomena that will be discussed here in Gunj, Mindal, Rish, Urm, 4 phases of deglaciation and glaciation. So, this is the second type of glaciation causes man-made. After understanding definition and causes, let us come to know how many phases of glaciation have been there on the earth. There have been 2 phases at large scale. One in Carboniferous period, second in Pleistocene period. In Carboniferous period, there was Caledonian folded mountain orogeny. For mountain orogeny, there is motion, horizontal motion in plates. As plates move, the voluminous amount of volcanic eruption takes place. With volcanic eruption, the volcanic dust overcasts the sky, which intercepts the insolation, and the temperature of the earth atmosphere is decreased. So, this was the first stage of Carboniferous glaciation, the record of which you can see here on the world map. And there was the second phase of glaciation, that was in Pleistocene period about 1.5 lakh years back, and it has 4 phases of glaciation and 4 interglacial period. How interglacial period was there? You can use this matter here. The first phase was Gunj, and Gunj was glaciation period. After Gunj, there was a deglaciation phase wherein ice melted. Then again Mindal was glaciation period, Riss deglaciation, Urm again glaciation, and after Urm deglaciarization. Present phase means global warming, temperature increasing naturally as well as by human factors by the increase of CO2. So this is a sequence of glaciation and deglaciation written from bottom to top, because in geology this system is adopted. And what is the cause of this glaciation? The cause of it is tertiary mountain orogeny. The latest folded mountain phase is alpine or tertiary, wherein Himalayas, Rockies and Andes are originating. And this impact, the impact of Pleistocene glaciation, is visible here along the northern belt of the world. Now, why Carboniferous glaciation here and why Pleistocene glaciation here? It is very noteworthy thing. And to understand it, you will have to contemplate the supercontinent Pangaea, wherein all the continents of present, means North America, Europe, Asia, Australia, they were united together with South America, Africa and Antarctica, and all together were called Pangaea, located centered at South Pole. Now you think that the North America and Eurasia might have been in north. North means near Tropic of Capricorn or more south, while the South America, Brazil part, Africa, Australia and India were near the South Pole, means Antarctic Circle. That was Carboniferous period. Glaciation started. Now, the glaciation process might have been visible not along the North Pole or Arctic Circle, because that was completely water body. Water body means that was Panthalassa, while the Pangaea land was in South Hemisphere, centered at the Antarctica or South Pole. That's why glacial process started, or glaciation started from Antarctica Circle, and it moved north, and the South America, Brazil, Patagonia Plateau, Africa, India at that time was not physically attached with Asia, rather it was physically attached with Madagascar, Africa, and Australia was also here. So these witnessed the impact of glaciation. That's why the Carboniferous glaciation, as written in map, the records are found here, and the glacial landforms and periglacial landforms like found in MP, Jabalpur, granitic round-shaped boulders and tars are found here. Contrary to it, the Pleistocene glaciation is of recent geological days. That's why this position of the continent witnessed the Pleistocene glaciation. Means during this period the glacial process started from here Arctic Circle and also from Antarctic Circle, but near Antarctic Circle this phase has no land part, That's why no glaciation impacts are recorded from Antarctic Circle, while from along Arctic Circle, the evidences of glaciation are there. Which are those evidences? If you see the lakes of Canada and of United States in a linear position, means there is a Great Bear Lake in Canada, Great Slave Lake, Winnipeg, Nipigon, Superior, Michigan, Huron, Erie, Ontario. They are in a linear position. And how they have been formed? When ice slope proceeded southward, it had pressure. Due to pressure, the land was subducted. And when there was a phase of deglaciation, the water was filled there, lakes came into existence. There was once a question asked in UPSC whether the lakes of North America are the result of Pleistocene glaciation or Carboniferous glaciation. So, answer is now clear. The evidences of glaciation in North Hemisphere during Pleistocene period is found in Scotland, Finland. Scotland and Finland are also called countries of lakes. Which lakes? Glacial lakes. Which period glaciation? Pleistocene period glaciation. So, there are two phases of glaciation. Number one, Carboniferous past one, and this present one. Now, there is a phase of deglaciation, or better to say deglaciarization. Now, after understanding this, let us try to know the impact of glaciation. The impact of glaciation is found in two areas. Number one, high latitude region, and number two, high altitude region. In high latitude region, near Arctic Circle, that if the temperature decreases by 4 or 5 degrees Celsius, the water on the land first freezes. Then the ice slopes move southward, resulting into a number of glacial lakes that we have studied. Thus, here the water is frozen, and here the glacial process starts. At the same time, we should try to understand that, as we have discussed earlier, if temperature of atmosphere will fall by 5 degrees Celsius, so if temperature in low latitude is 32 degrees Celsius and the global temperature falls by 5 degrees Celsius, so here the temperature will be 27 degrees Celsius, at which water will not freeze and there will be no impact of glaciation in low latitude. But here one process will work at 27 or 25 degrees Celsius temperature. There will be evaporation of water, and that evaporated water vapor will reach the high latitude through the atmosphere's tricellular meridional circulation, and it will stay there because freezing process will take there, and that water will not come back to the low latitude, and the result will be the lowering of sea level in low latitude. That's why the impact of glaciation on high latitude is the spreading of ice sheets, while on the low latitude negative change in sea level. And when there will be negative change in sea level, means sea level will decrease, there will be rejuvenation in fluvial process that we will study in the rejuvenated and polycyclic landform. One impact of glaciation is also witnessed in low latitude but high altitude areas. Suppose in low latitude, high altitude area means it is Himalayas mountain, And Himalayas mountain is also affected by glaciation process in glaciation phase. Today, what is the height of ice line in Himalayas? It is, suppose, 3,500 meter ice line, and above which the entire part is covered with ice, and below it there is fluvial process or water. During glaciation period, this ice line will come down, and in Pleistocene period it came down to 2000 to 2200 meters, and the glacial process worked there. Glacial landforms are found there at the height of 2200 meters, and glacial process eroded morainic deposits are also found there. This is evidence of glaciation in Himalayan region over high altitudes. Now, there was one question in UPSC that the height of ice line today over Himalayas is 3,500 meters. Why? Morainic deposits due to glacial process are found up to the height of about 2000 meters. Options were there, several options were there. One was also there that Himalayas are rising. That's why there is a change in ice line and change in the height of morainic deposit. One option was there that Himalayan region undergoes seismic activity. Due to seismic tremors, although moraines are formed at the height of 3,500 meters, but due to tremors, they are rolled down according to slope and are deposited and found up to 2000 meters. But what is reality? Both are not real. Reality is the Pleistocene phase of glaciation, where the ice line came down. Today, there is no glaciation, rather deglaciation, deglaciarization due to global warming, resulting into the upward movement of ice lines. So, this is about the glaciation, its definition, causes, phases, and impact. Thank you.